When I first started quilting, I made every mistake in the book. And you guys, I'm still making mistakes and learning. I only decided to become a quilter about 2 years ago. I've been sewing for over 30 years, but a couple of years ago, I really decided to dive into the quilting world. And you know what? I'm really loving it even more than I thought I would. But today I wanted to share with you the top 3 mistakes that I made in the beginning so that you can avoid those mistakes when you're beginning your quilting journey as well. So the first thing I want to talk about is tools. It can be so overwhelming when you start shopping for quilting tools. And let me say this first, you don't need them all, okay? Build up that inventory. Nobody started with all the tools, right? And there are so many different things. But to get started, what you really need is a good rotary cutter with blades, new blades. It doesn't matter if you get the Olfa, the Fiskars, the higher end brands, it's a rotary cutter. That's all you need. Get some blades. I buy my replacement blades on Amazon. It's fine. They work great. You need a cutting mat, so some sort of cutting surface. And if you're just getting started, I will tell you, Walmart and Amazon have some great inexpensive tools that you can get, especially when you're just getting started, to find out if you even love it. Like you think you're going to, you're probably going to, but I'm just saying, don't feel like you've got to go out there and spend hundreds of dollars on tools. You don't. You can get started really inexpensively. So, and I'm going to link some things for you guys in the description as well for some of my favorite beginning quilting tools. So don't feel like you have to go out there and get all of it, okay? A good pair of fabric scissors, and just make sure your husband isn't using these to open up the bag of Doritos. A ruler, not several rulers. You don't need all the tricky pattern rulers and all I mean, they're great, don't get me wrong, but do you need them to start out? No, you need one straight edge ruler. And if you're gonna get just one, this one is 2.5 inches wide. I think it's 18 inches long. This one is great, and it will get you through a lot of projects. Okay. Another bonus tool that I'm going to tell you that I think is worth investing in as a beginner, and I don't think that these are very expensive. I don't remember offhand, but this is a 1/4 inch presser foot for your sewing machine. And this is a 1/4 of an inch away from your needle all the time. So you can use this foot as a guide, because I will tell you, I didn't realize when I first started that 1/4 of an inch seam allowance makes a difference, and you need to be consistent in quilting if you want things to match up. Now, I'm going to stop myself and I'm going to tell you right now, no quilt is perfect. Nobody is perfect at quilting. Nobody makes a quilt. It has all of their points and their seams and everything match up perfectly. It just doesn't happen, and it's not required. Part of why I didn't want to be a quilter was because I was intimidated by it. I would look at these quilts that people would make and look at all of the work and the piecing and the perfection, and I was just like, it's just, no, I can't do it. It's just too much stress on myself to be perfect. And I just, all the precision that goes into it, all the things, right? So then I was shopping and I was looking at this quilt hanging on a display wall. And I went up to the quilt and I got really, really, really close. And I'm looking at this quilt and I thought, there's so many seams off in this quilt that is hanging on display in this quilt store. And that was all I needed to see to have the confidence to start taking on quilting. Now I will tell you, once I decided, okay, I'm going to be a quilter, I want to learn how to quilt. This was the first quilt that I made, and this pattern is called Brightly by Cluck Cluck Sew. This was quilted by my good friend Jody at Pleasant Home. She has a quilting business, and so she quilted it for me. This was before I had my own long arm, but she quilted it all up for me, and it turned out so beautiful. But you guys, the amount of mistakes in this quilt alone, but can you tell by looking at them? No. When you're looking at a block and you're close up and you're looking at it, you can see where things are off. But in the grand scheme of things, when you put it all together and then you have it quilted, and then after you wash it and it's full of the wrinkly, crinkly goodness that you get in that quilt when you wash it, you're not going to see those mistakes. So don't worry about that. all right? We're not worrying about perfection at all. We're just here to get started and have fun. That's what it's all about, is just having fun in the journey. So one of the other mistakes that I made was not feeling that pressing was super important and not realizing how much difference you have in your fabric size before you press it versus after. Because when you press out those wrinkles, your fabric gets a little bit bigger. And depending on how you're pressing and what you're pressing, if you're using steam, you could be shrinking your fabric. So just knowing what you're working with, when to use steam, when to not use steam, to make sure that you're not shrinking down that fabric. Next thing that I did wrong is I was rushing everything and I was not cutting accurately. I was just cutting up all these blocks. I'm reading through the pattern and it tells me I need, 40 of these blocks, 1.5 by 1.5. And so I'm cutting them all and I'm just cutting through stacks of fabric, setting them aside. I might be on the line here. I might be a little off there. Well, a little off here and a little off there adds for a lot off when you put it all together. So slow down, take your time, and line things up. Use the ruler, use the lines on your cutting mat, and make sure that you're lining things up and you're cutting as accurately as you can. Now, I always recommend pressing first, and if you want to go down this road, starching first. You know what I did? I was making this quilt. This is my Strawberry Fields quilt pattern, and these are some of my test blocks, right, that I was making. And I didn't realize that you need to starch your fabric before you cut it. And I was cutting it all, and then I would starch it with some spray starch. I was using a couple of different ones, this Faultless. Here's another spray starch. I had another one that you mix with water and put it in a spray bottle. And then I would, my blocks were so crisp and nice, and then I would go put them together. And this one, no, this is the one. Look at the pink in the middle. Do you see how off those are? I mean, it's not even close where it should match up here. It's way off. And I'm like, why aren't these matching up? And it was driving me bonkers, and I made another block. And again, my points aren't matching up when in reality, they should look like this one, where the pink. Do you see how it all matches up and comes around to form this circle? Now here I was looking for some precision because of what I was designing. But what I found out, because I asked a question to my Instagram audience, was, what am I doing wrong? It's starching before cutting. Because when you starch, you shrink your fabric. The starch, steam, those things will shrink your fabric a little bit. The mistake that I was making is I was starching after I cut. So I would cut all the pieces. In hindsight, that was really silly. Instead of starching one big piece of fabric and then cutting from the fabric, I was cutting all the pieces up. So I was cutting all these rectangles in all these little pieces, then starched them, and then sewed them together. And then they weren't matching up and things weren't coming out, and then my blocks were the wrong size. Well, starch, like steam, will also shrink your fabric a little bit. So you need to starch your fabric first. So then I started a new method where I would starch everything, press it, let it dry, and then cut. And that is how I got from the block that doesn't match up at all in the middle to the block that matches up so much better. And I know, again, it's not about perfection, but you want things to be accurate and you want to do your best when you're trying. So if you're going to use starch, you don't have to, but if you choose to, make sure you starch your fabric first, then you cut it to the size. Otherwise, you're going to shrink it and things aren't going to match up. Just like how I learned, most things I learn, I have to learn the hard way, and I have to do it wrong first before I start doing it right, because then I go down the rabbit hole of learning, okay, what did I do wrong? Because that's how we learn anyway. So don't worry about making mistakes, because I'm still making them every single day. All right, so we've talked about getting just the basic tools, okay? We've talked about taking your time, cutting accurately, and just paying attention. Starching, if you choose to starch, you want to starch your fabric first, then cut. So I've got one more bonus tip for you guys, and we kind of talked about it, perfectionism. Feeling like I had to be perfect, feeling like all my points needed to match up, like everything needed to look great. There's so much wrong in this quilt back here, and we're not even gonna worry about it. I'm not even gonna try to find the mistakes because it doesn't matter, because when it's all done and you get the finished product, it doesn't matter. If you can't see the mistakes from a distance, don't worry about it. So don't get hung up when you're making your individual blocks on those individual mistakes. Even when you start quilting the blocks together and your rows aren't all exactly perfect and they don't all match up, because they probably won't. They're probably not always going to match up just perfectly. They're going to be off a little bit. Now, some ways to have a little bit more accuracy and some things that I don't like to do, but I have found there's a reason why we do them, is pinning. Get some pins. Now, okay, these aren't my favorite for quilting. These are just what I had sitting here. These are my favorite for quilting. Let me show you. These are magic pins. Now, they make them in a variety of styles, lengths, thickness. Why I love magic pins so much. Now, these, I don't remember the details. I've got two different ones in here, though. Okay, why they're called magic pins is because you can iron over them. So these little nubs on the top, you can iron right over those and it won't melt them, it won't hurt them, it won't affect your iron. The other reason I like these is, now you're not gonna be able to see this on camera, but the green one, this one, is thinner. The millimeters of the needle itself are thinner than this one, than the orange. And then they make them even thicker. So it depends on the project and what you're working on. But the fact that these needles are so thin, and I love this length. This is, what are they, 1.5 inches? No, they're 1 inch. Well, the total, okay, so the pin itself is 1 inch. The total with the head of the pin is 1.5 inches. I don't know what the dimensions on the box equate to, if it's the entire thing or just the length of the pin itself. But because they're thin, they go into your fabric so nicely, and you can sew over them. I know, a lot of people are gonna be like, oh my God, you don't ever sew over pins. I do all the time. You know, you do you, right? So, but I like that you can just sew over them. But also, I have found when putting those rows together and you match up the seams, you know, when I was putting this together and I was matching up my seams and I would pin, okay, I want this seam to go with this, pin it, and use a lot of, like, the more pins you use, the more accurate it's going to be. Now, again, there are no rules. You do what you want to do. But these are just some things that I've learned along the way that have improved my accuracy as I've been learning and becoming a quilter. These are just some of the other blocks that I've done. I just wanted to grab some to show you. Half square triangles. That's where I started with my quilting, other than this brightly pattern that I did when I started diving into making my own patterns. I really, and to this day, still enjoy playing with half square triangles because they are so incredibly versatile. This is also done completely with half square triangles. You can make so many different designs, change the look just by turning a block. So that's one thing you might want to learn too, is, you know, half square triangles. But I hope this was helpful. I just wanted to share some things with you today that I've learned along my journey that will hopefully help you not make the same mistakes I did, but just also to know that sewing is meant to be fun. That's why we do it, because we love it, we enjoy the process. So don't ever worry about the mistakes. Don't let the quilt police tell you you're doing anything wrong, because even if it's not right, if you're learning from it or you learn a better way, you can do things however you want. There are no rules. Now, if you enjoyed this video, be sure you hit that subscribe button and follow along so that you get notified next time we post a new video, because we've got a bunch of great fun content coming your way, and I've got this fun little tutorial for you right here.